client came to me with a problem that they had 40 terminals and they had 2 CPUs, 2 different systems, and they wanted to have access to both systems from one terminal. Obviously, it was a cost thing. They didn't want 2 terminals on a person's desk, and they didn't want to rewire the whole world.
Our accounting package doesn't solve the whole agency's needs, so they go out and buy a bunch of PCs and scatter them across the agency. The problem there is to make the PCs communicate now with the mini computer system, and also try to get the ASCII tubes that are attached to the mini computer system, talk to the PCs and share that data.
Every day, the facilities department was being called upon and said, look, this guy needs to go from the HP to the DEC or the VAX, or this guy needs this guy needs that.
I had an idea of what I wanted. It was just to find somebody that made something that supported, 20 to 40 terminals. That's a problem.
Sound familiar? If so, welcome to the world of connectivity problems. I'm Robert Chesney with a special report on the new Inc. 64 by Western Telematic, a product being heralded in the industry as the cost-effective connectivity solution. In preparing this report, we had the opportunity of interviewing 5 data communications specialists to get a first-hand look at their problems and, most importantly, their solutions using the Inc. 64. Russ Gonzalez is a project manager for Security Pacific Bank. We heard the problem. The bank needed to connect 40 terminals to 2 different mini-computer systems. We asked Russ about his alternatives.
ABC boxes was one thing, but then again, here's a cost factor. You would have to recable. At the present time, the way the terminals are hooked up is with twisted pair. So I called up Western Telematic and I said, what do you have? And it just happens that when I called them, it was a new product announcement for them, was the INC 64.
SSD is a software development firm specializing in network management systems. President Bill Rose needed a connectivity device capable of polling approximately 60 remote locations for diagnostic purposes. He discussed the alternatives.
Some of the devices that we looked at were costly in comparison. I think 64 is relatively inexpensive compared to what you're getting. It also has a great deal more functionality. You can do broadcast with it. You can poll with it. You can do diagnostics on individual channels, so it's a pretty comprehensive little device.
John Mendrin is the Director of Engineering for Basic Computer Systems, a major supplier of accounting systems for advertising agencies. John's problem was that several of Basic Computer's customers had added PCs to their mini-based accounting systems and wanted integration.
We had the problem of data interchangeability. The way they were doing it, there was a simple, a quick solution, a Band-Aid solution to the problem, is to take the PCs and just put them in a local area network. But that wouldn't make the PCs talk to the mini-computer systems. Now we're talking another bridge. We're talking another device, another type of software on both ends. But that still would only solve the second problem. That would say, okay, the PCs now and would share the information with the mini-computer system. But that did not allow the dumb tubes, the ASCII devices, to get into the DOS environment. And by using this telematic switch, we were able to do it.
The WTI solution additionally saved the users money by allowing them to utilize dumb terminals instead of PCs and workstations to run popular PC programs like Lotus, DBase, and WordPerfect. Getting, though, to the bottom line.
Simplicity. We were looking for something that was very simple, something that can expand with ease, something that would be very reliable, and something that was cost effective.
Richard Perez is Data Communications Manager for MCBA. MCBA sells business software that's configured to run on a host of systems, including DECs, HPs, and PCs.
We had so many users on so many different systems, and every time one user needed access to another system for either WP, word processing, or something else, and there was so much movement and change in the area that this Western Telematic was a solution to all the changes by having a dedicated line to every user and him having the ability to swap to different ports on different machines from one terminal. basically eliminated the guy from having to have a specific HP terminal, VAX terminal, etc. So that was the reason why we needed something like this. And like I said, it sounded too good on paper, but now that it's implemented and in use, it's really saved me and my department a lot of time in regards to changing and keeping up to date.
Our final case study is here at Seagate Substrates, where a PC-based quality control system has been installed. According to Mike Robinson, the firm's quality engineer, the real problem was going from a paper system to a PC. Mike's solution was to connect a number of quality monitoring PCs to one Inc. 64.
So now the information can be funneled to one PC that we use as a host, which collects the data from all the different lines, so we can see what's going on.
We asked if a local area network would have been an alternative.
I would say no. One of the biggest things when you start talking about networking, you have to look into LANs. And there you have to sit there and install a certain card into it to allow you to hook up, and there's different types. That cost is pretty high compared to the way we're doing it, because we're just using RS-232.
In each of the 5 case studies, the Inc. 64 solved the problem.
The benefit to me was, one, I didn't have to recable. I used my existing cabling. It was all hotkey from the terminal. The user could just, with a simple command, enter a CA for CPU A or a CB for CPU B, and it solved my problem, and it solved my user's problem at a minimal cost to us.
So it's a buffering system, it's a polling system, it's a control system, it's a management system, it's a connectivity system, it's an alarm reporting system. For us, it's a lot of things wrapped up in one.
We then asked about the ease of use.
And the customer now just types in, if they want to go to Novell, they just type in NOV, hit a carriage return, and they're signed on to the Novell network.
Once I set it up, I never really had to hand out any specific instructions on how to log on, how to connect, how to disconnect, and do things like that. And it was just so self-explanatory that the people just caught on.
You know, I just pulled it out of the box, put it on the rack, and it started running.
But the obvious question is, how reliable has the Inc. 64 been?
We've had no problems with it. On the other hand, some of the other things that we're testing right now, we've had one box that lasted a week. We had another one that lasted about a month.
To further enhance reliability, WTI, who has been in business since 1964, offers a 3-year factory warranty. Moving to the bottom line, we asked about cost effectiveness.
It justified itself the second I put it on the shelf. So that the return on my investment was based on, it immediately gave me access to things I didn't have access to before.
Bill Rose candidly discussed the company behind the product.
It's a very reliable company, and they have a reputation of good service and friendly type service, and certainly responsive. So they have a good reputation.
In visiting Western Telematic's corporate office in Irvine, California, we learned of the heritage of the Inc. 64 from Sales and Marketing Director David Shumway.
When Western Telematic designed the INC64, we wanted a product that would be as versatile and flexible as possible. Thus, we built it around an open architecture. As the customer's needs expand, so can the INC64. Each individual module supports 8 more devices. Now, because of every application being different, we provide DB25 connections, RJ11, and telephone punch-down block interfaces. Now, in addition to these types of interfaces, we realize, too, that every application may involve a different layout. Thus, we have RS-422 line drivers and multiplexers. These line drivers and multiplexers convert a 232 signal to 422, enabling the user to extend his distance up to 3,000 feet and beyond.
The Inc. 64 has several built-in features such as programmable baud rates, flow control, parity, and log-on, log-off messages for each individual port. The unit has automatic printer sharing, email capabilities, transmission rates up to 38.4 and up to 2 megabytes of buffering. Modem pooling allows the connection of individual or multiple modems to the system. Ports assigned a common name can be included in hunt groups. There are several levels of security allowing restrictive access as well as system passwords for port logon and port access. A built-in audit trail feature outputs detailed activity of everything that's transpired within the switch. Optional PC file transfer software is also available for Inc. 64 users. So in this special report on Western Telematic's Inc. 64, we've seen a truly innovative and cost-effective connectivity solution that's worked for these 5 users and hundreds of others. In closing, here are the summary thoughts of our guests.
If you're looking for something that's going to do the job for you right away, and with minimal amount of learning, this is the product to get.
If you're looking for a system that's very flexible, this system is it.
This machine is proven to be compatible not just on different systems, which could be networked to different other systems, but this thing could probably network within itself.
I've been designing networks and building systems for about 20 years, and it has a lot of applications. This is just scratching the surface.